We get that rocking, and we just have this fight in the middle to the death. That I'm telling you, it would save money. You could get advertising for it. It would be cool, but nobody wants to do it. Something about missing teeth. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
So you began with Dragon Ball, obviously.
Yeah, and I met you on Degree Man. I was in town. I'd already moved to LA, and I was in town, and what happens is some of the established actors who now live in LA, such as Todd and myself, and Vic, and Troy Baker, Laura Bailey, all that. Occasionally we fly back to Dallas for stuff, and we just give them a heads up. Hey, I'm going to be in town from this date to this date, and I can come in. If any of the directors have any roles or anything, I'm available. So that's what I do twice a year. Over Christmas break and around June, I come for Acon. So I think I've done that, and Sabbath may have passed the word along, or Tara may have.
Yeah.
Say, hey, Kyle's going to be in town, so if you have any parts. So I got to voice some stuff.
You were that crazy mayor from the town. In that episode where they think like, what was it? They think, we need to stop the vampire.
Yeah.
And you were the guy that came in and did that.
Yep.
Yeah, check it out. So you started with Dragon Ball. Now this was back in the day when they were still doing things on tape deck and
yes. Tape. What's that?
Yeah, like we need to explain that process because that's something that number one they don't do anymore. But I don't know if these guys are familiar with what's all involved with that. I mean, you can say you record on tape deck and immediately people picture like cobwebs and lighting the script by candlelight, putting on the, dipping your feather pen in ink. So it's not like that, kids.
It's not that old.
Yeah. But yeah, how was that process? Because right when I came on board was when that process was done. Like right when it had finished.
You're so lucky.
Yes. I know. So what was it like? I mean, you walk into the booth. How do you record? And now on Dragon Ball Z, how does that happen?
That's right. So the raw footage nowadays is done on a QuickTime file. Just like you watch clips on YouTube or whatever. It says instant, and you can search and restart and all that. And that's what we do now. Back in the day, was broadcast beta, a derision of, remember, VHS and beta and VHS 1. But anyway, tape. So it has to queue up to the exact moment where there's going to be 3 beeps, right? Beeps are the starting gun. That's how we know. Beep, beep. Dub. That's where the 4th beep was. That's where you start talking. And that's how we still do it now with QuickTime videos and Pro Tools. You can do everything digitally, instantly. It's awesome. Back in the day, you had the time code burned into the video, which shows hour, minute, second, millisecond frame. 30 seconds, 30 frames of video per second. And some poor slob has to sit there and go through every time a character does something and notate that on the script and create our English dub script. So if you blow a take, and we all do, very rarely do we actually just sit there and just, bam, one take Jake. Unless it's something short like a, huh? Great, moving on. But if it's some like soliloquy, like, and then Gohan races his head, whatever. And then we blow a take. They'd have to rewind the tape, which took about 30 seconds, and then it would like ease back and forth, like, too many frames this way, too many this way, like, oh God, okay. All right, now we're ready. Beep, 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 bop. I'm sorry. Because Sabbath likes to crack his actors up, at least me, because it's very easy to do. You make a fart joke or something, or the characters are in a compromising position on screen. And then, so, are you enjoying that? Oh, okay. You're drinking and watching out of the corner of your eye. But yes, that is basically what it is. It just took a lot of time. We could get less done. Now, because it's digital, we can zoom through a lot of lines, or loops as they're called, whether it's a phrase, a line, or a reaction sound, or a punch effort, or whatever. We try to get through at least, 30 an hour is expected?
And they want to up it.
They want to up it.
That's what's funny is they want to up it, but the acting base, it's not like you go into a boot camp each week. It's just like, well, if you still can only do 20 an hour, sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's weird. But yeah, when we would do shows early on, when a show like Soul Eater came out, which was like 52 episodes, in my head I'm like, oh my God, that's going to take like a year and a half to record. This is going to be awesome. No, it took like 6 months. And so, because that was, I don't know, just with technology kind of improving and people figuring out workarounds and things like that, it gets more efficient. And so, that's kind of the to piggyback on kind of the other way of doing it, you know. And we did paper scripts, and what's funny is some place like Funimation is all digital. So you've got your screen that is your reference video, you've got your other screen which is your monitor with the script on it, and they can make changes to it in real time. And then what it used to be in the paper scripts was if changes were made, they would have to print it out or tell you, and you'd have to rewrite it on the music stand with the script on the music stand. But in LA, you would think that everyone's digital, but that is totally not the case. I mean, when we go and record for Naruto, I mean, it's on paper. It's in a huge binder.
Yep.
You go to episode 5,000,007, and you go to loop 28,000, and you record it, and it's on a giant CRT or rear projection television, and it's not digital at all. Whereas you would think it would be the opposite. But yeah, it's, you know, what has been your worst recording setup as far as like, because like for me, I recorded in a booth one time where we needed a monitor, but the guy said he was prepared for that, but he wasn't. And so he jury-rigged something. So when we walk in, the monitor was a big monitor, and it wasn't attached to the wall, it wasn't on a stand. So he had to prop it up with a broken mic stand. So it's just balancing very precariously on there. And so what's happening is as I'm recording, my head is doing this. And the director's looking at the window and he's like, why are you recording? Because it looks like I'm recording like this. And he's like, what's going on? I go, well, the monitor's down here now, and I can't see it. And so we never worked with that guy again. But the guy that came in, and there was a guy that interrupted our session, and it was like this kind of older man with long hair, and he's like, oh man, I gotta find this. I can't find my guitar pedals. I'm looking around. Oh shoot, I can't find it. And so I'm like, oh, can I help you find them? And I found them for him, and he's like, oh man, thanks so much, I appreciate it. And then the engineer's smiling as the guy leaves, and I'm like, what's funny? He goes, do you know who that was? And I'm like, no. And he goes, that's the guitarist for the Ramones, and you know, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So, bye. But like, so what was your worst like booth recording experience?
I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it was just unexpected. There was an anime series called The Third a few years ago, and it was a bi-coastal production with, I think, NYAV Post, Michael Centernecklace, has done some stuff in New York, and then it was also being done in LA with Sam Riegel. And we didn't do it in a studio, we did it in his closet, quite literally. So he had his camcorder set up for the monitor in his closet, his fancy $1,000 plus mic, and I'm in the closet. In the closet, instead of soundproofing, and you guys who do recording at home know this, the way to get around spending money on soundproofing is just do it in a closet where there's clothes and boxes, things that absorb sound. So when you record, it's not echoing like it is in here. It's very dead silent and everything. So I'm in the closet with the door almost shut. Do you think keeping it being completely closed is the wires from the cable are going outside, and so is the mic, going to his Pro Tools rig, his Mac setup by his bed. So, yeah, that was pretty different. It's like, and we did the whole show that way. I had some recurring characters on there, and
so you could just sleep over, wake up, and get in the closet.
I guess I could, yeah, really.
That sounds convenient to me.
Well, yeah. I mean,
well, right on. Yeah.
Paycheck still showed up. So.
That's right. There you go. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah. Thank you. Look, she's so good. She's on it.
Thank you. Oh, does this one work? Perfect. Okay, so if you guys have questions, you can go ahead and line up over here, and then you'll have to tell me what your question is, and then you can go ahead and ask me for the microphone. If you refer to page 37 in your programs, it has a couple guidelines for the kinds of questions and things that are pretty good. All right.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Todd.
Good to see you representing.
How did you do some of your lines as Natsu with a straight face?
Oh, well, with that show, I am really preoccupied with trying to keep my throat ready to record that show. Because if you haven't seen Fairy Tale, I play this character. How many people have seen Fairy Tale? Oh, good, awesome. How many people have not seen Fairy Tale? Raise your hand so I can shame you. Okay, so Fairy Tale is this cool show that where if you like shows about wizards and the wizards with powers, I play a fire-eating wizard who was raised by a father who was a dragon who abandoned me. He was a deadbeat dad. And I eat fire to get power. Well, that voice is very down here, and you can't really fake that voice. And so when you do power-ups and when you do fire dragon roars and attacks, it's very loud, and it's very, you can hear it. It's like, it's almost like little gremlins have rakes and they're going on my vocal cords. So we don't record full days on a show like that. We have to cut it up. And so that's what I'm thinking about. So all those lines, the funny and all that kind of stuff, kind of just whoop, because I'm getting ready, because down the page I see a 7-second yell coming up. Now 7 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but that 7 seconds could change your life, by the way. If you want to test it, try driving and close your eyes and count to 7 and see how long that is. Anyway, don't really do that. Don't do that and tell the cops I told you to do that, because then I'm an accessory. But it's a long time, and we have to scream full out, and so let's see. Okay, we'll time it. I don't even know if I can do it, but here we go. Okay, 7 seconds. I'm gonna set a timer. Oh, I can't for that many seconds, but here we go. Reset. This is a typical yell. I haven't warmed up, so I don't even know if this is gonna work. Don't shame me for not doing it. Okay, here we go. That's 4 seconds. Okay, so double that. That's what I have to get through. Okay, full volume, like that. And I didn't want to do it. Like the minute I did it, my vocal was like, what do you think you're doing? Whoa, fella. We haven't had our caramel macchiato yet. So anyway, but yeah, I don't, in the booth, I'm kind of a square, because Sabbath is like really good about leaving bombs and like stuff like that. I'm not. Like, because I'm so focused on, my whole thing is like, I want to be as fast as I can in the booth. And so I like to, typically when you work with a director, sometimes they'll only let you get like one line at a time. I know Tony does that, it's like 1 or 2. But at Funimation or places like that, I'll go through pages. I'll just do a run of like, 2 or, so I'm like thinking ahead and remembering what I saw 30 seconds into the clip. Okay, I'm supposed to do a closed mouth, clenched teeth reaction into an open mouth roll, into a, mouth not seen, I'm thinking about all that. So I'm like kind of a librarian. I'm like just very like, okay, let's all focus and get ready, so. But, yeah. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Hi.
Hi, Fana.
Well, for this one, I actually have something to give you two, and I.
Is it a disease? I'm always looking to add to my collection. I've got. Oh wait, you finish.
Oh, sorry. And I have a question for Kyle. Kyle, I was just wondering, how are you alive if Doug Walker suffocated you with a pillow?
Good question. The Nostalgia Critic, a character which has sadly been retired. But yeah, Doug Walker, hysterical web series where he just trash talks a lot of movies and it's very funny. We did a skit together called Kyle Hebert is an A-hole. Obviously, fill in the blank. But anyway,